if I told you I'm going to violate your rights if I don't like what you're saying or what you're doing?
Here's the deal.
Here's the deal.
Here's the deal.
So here's the deal.
Oh, here we go.
Here's the deal.
Here's the deal.
Here's the deal.
So here's the deal.
Well, here's the deal.
Here's the deal.
So here's the deal.
But here's the deal.
Here's the deal.
Well, here's the deal.
Here's the deal, man.
Here's the deal.
So here's the deal.
And here's the deal.
Here's the deal.
Here's the deal.
Because here's the deal.
Here's the deal. Either give me your ID or you go to jail. How about that?
Catch me outside. How about that?
How about that?
How about that?
Here's the deal.
Welcome back to the Here's the Deal channel. Freedom is important, and hypocrisy, inconsistency, and a veering away from the principles of liberty have to be exposed. This guy, Michael Cassidy, a former Republican congressional candidate in Mississippi, tore down and beheaded a satanic temple display inside the Iowa state capitol. Now, most of you know that I'm apolitical. I oppose Democrats for the same reason I oppose Republicans. Politics is a game concocted by the money masters to keep the ignorant in the hamster wheel of tribal infighting for the sole purpose of pacifying and controlling them in the interest of increasing state power. It's really nothing more, nothing less than that. Engaging in the support of Team Red or Team Blue is a demoralizing affair. It mentally controls and forces an individual to take a position that causes supporters to demean themselves into being unprincipled people. And here's what I mean. Republicans claim they care about the freedoms articulated in the First Amendment. And when anyone violates the First Amendment by attempting to censor things they like, they cry loudly that they have the freedom to do or say what they're saying and doing. Ironically and sadly, the Democrats do the same thing while supporting what they favor. But then, when one of their own clearly violates two First Amendment freedoms, that's the freedom of speech and the freedom of religion, they applaud and cheer. Listen to this portion of a Michael Cassidy interview by the Christian Broadcasting Network.
You've ignited quite a debate, right? Even among Christians, you've got two sides of this. People who are saying, people should be praising you for this and celebrating you because you have taken down a symbol that honestly shouldn't be there. Even if there's a holiday argument, it's interesting to note that the Satanists aren't. By the way, these Satanists, the Satanic Temple, is an atheist group. Technically, which is interesting. And that's a whole other conversation. But there's no Christmas celebration happening here, right? This is the time of year we celebrate Christmas. And so that symbol has nothing to do with Christmas. The other side will say, well, we shouldn't be destroying property. We shouldn't do this. And, you have to allow more free speech, not less, right? So how do you respond to that debate that you've ignited with this?
I think that it's the wrong debate to have, that it's extremely simple, that, there can be, we could talk about this for hours, for days. There are people that are much more intelligent than I am, much more well-versed in making good Christian, good legal arguments. But it really boils down to God is good and deserves praise, and Satan is evil and does not deserve praise. And it's not they're not equal. There is an example that I gave earlier today, I think, was, if there was some, fake religious group that they call themselves a religion, and they decided that they wanted to honor ISIS or honor Osama bin Laden for 9/11, and they got a permit from a bureaucrat to put a display of the 6 foot, 8 foot tall Osama bin Laden inside a state capitol. Who's going to defend that? They're going to be, of course, there's always going to be somebody, but that doesn't mean that it's a good argument. That doesn't mean that we have to listen to it. That there's a lot of I think, misconceptions about what the Satanic Temple, what the devil is. The devil is bad, and it's not something that we should promote.
So in response to the question, we shouldn't be destroying property, you have to allow more free speech, not less. How do you respond to that debate? Cassidy responds, it's the wrong debate to have. It's extremely simple. You should accept my God, but you should not accept other religious figures because I say so. Now, the problem with this is that people view the God of the Bible with the same disdain as they view Allah or Buddha or Satan. What this guy is saying is that you better respect my freedom of religion, but I'm not going to respect yours. And it doesn't matter where you land on this issue. It doesn't matter if you're a Satanist, it doesn't matter if you're a Buddhist, it doesn't matter if you're a Muslim or a Christian. Do you have the freedom to express your religious ideals? Do you have the freedom to worship the way you want to worship? The freedoms of others should be respected, including the freedom to offend. To willfully and unjustly encroach upon the freedoms of another is to forego your own freedom. And that's what CBN and Michael Cassidy are doing. Jesse Waters from Fox News also had this guy on, but never addressed the seriousness of the double-edged sword and the double standard of being inconsistent on upholding the First Amendment, and in fact being hypocritical by violating the First Amendment. What's interesting about this is that the freedom of speech and freedom of religion haters come out of the woodwork in the comments section under this video. Where have you people been? This evil is happening all over our country. Take a stand for what is right. Meaning stand against and violate anybody who does something you don't like. The thought that state officials would allow this is disgusting. Well, in reality, state officials are disgusting because they work for the religion called the state, which also violates our rights daily as they steal our money. Michael Cassidy, millions stand with you. Stand against evil and wickedness. Praying for you, Iowa politicians. So it's a stand against evil and wickedness to disrespect the principles of religious freedom? All Iowa politicians need to be voted out. Spoken like a true servant on the plantation. Now, Jesse Waters is confronted with an interesting statement by a guy named Lucian Graves, who's a spokesman for the Satanic Temple.
If Satan's evil, why should kids be in an evil club?
Well, obviously we don't view Satan as evil, and it really doesn't matter to us what your mythology is surrounding Satan. You need to ask yourself if your distaste over us identifying as Satanists is strong enough that you would abandon the principles of free speech and religious liberty.
Waters never addresses this and won't address it because it exposes his hypocrisy. It's a good question. Is your hatred for what someone says or does strong enough for you to abandon the principles you say you cling to? And in the case of a lot of people who call themselves Christians, the answer is yes. Speech and religious freedom is the cornerstone of liberty. Liberty is life. If you applaud the removal of those freedoms and liberties, you're applauding the removal of life itself, even the removal of your own life. George Washington said, if freedom of speech is taken away, then dumb and silent we may be led like sheep to the slaughter. On the other side of the political spectrum, all the young Turks could do is mock the fact that the Republicans got trolled by the Satanists. Nobody on the left or the right is addressing the hypocrisy that's being promoted here. Each side is basically saying, it's okay to violate the freedoms of another if you don't happen to like how they're using their speech and religious freedoms. So where does it stop? The answer is, it doesn't. What we've got here is full-scale censorship. Censorship that's being applauded by Democrats and Republicans. This incident in the Iowa State Capitol reveals the true problem with America. People only respect the position and the view that they themselves hold. If somebody says something or does something they don't like, they embrace the tyrannical position of violating the will of other people. And it's a tyrannical boomerang that will come back and knock them on the head for the exact same reason. I mean, either you hate tyranny or you don't. In our stand against tyranny, make sure you're not becoming a tyrant yourself by trying to silence somebody simply because you don't like what they're saying. If you believe in freedom of speech, you believe in freedom of speech for views you don't like. Every single tyrant from Goebbels to Hitler to Stalin to Mao Zedong were all in favor of speech for views they liked. If you're in favor of freedom of speech and religion, that means you're in favor of freedom of speech and religion precisely for views and religions you despise. Freedom of speech and religion is for everybody or it's for nobody. As much as you may hate what somebody else believes, there are thousands of other people who equally hate what you believe, and for the same reasons. Just remember, when you have something to say, there's always somebody somewhere with a very good reason to stop you from saying it. But should they? Leave your thoughts about this for the world and the global thought police in the comment section below. If you haven't done so already, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification icon, give it a thumbs up, share it with everybody you know. Don't forget to subscribe to my email list through my website, highimpactflix.com. That's highimpactflix.com. If you want to support the channel further, grab a shirt, become a channel member, but more importantly, stand for freedom and don't move off of your stand for freedom. Freedom is dangerous. The only thing more dangerous is not having freedom. I'll see you in the next video.